Going on out there. I'm about to check this video out about school trafficking. I guess the individual went to the authorities and nothing was done about it. I haven't seen the video. I'm just going to give my raw opinion about it. So let's start it and see what they're talking about.
Now, back in April, we told you about an educator from Klein ISD and her son who were arrested after being accused of running a sex trafficking ring involving some of the students. And now we're learning the backlash after a whistleblower tried to sound the alarm.
It's not just her coming forward and making these allegations to the school about someone on that campus, about a fellow teacher, but she also went to the police about it. And nothing was done for months. This predator remained on this campus for over a year. How is it that she remained in these classrooms? How is it that the school did not put her on timeout or put her away from the students, at least until an investigation was done?
And of course, Kedra Grigsby and her son Roger McGee were arrested, but apparently people were told more than a year ago. So how does this happen? We have with us Matilda Saragosa joined.
They're probably on a payroll. That's why nothing got done. That's probably the sad truth about that. These kids were just swept under the rug. And by looking at the community, the teachers that's in the community, I'm going to say they just totally ignored it, or they're on the payroll, or just a little of both.
Us here in the studio to talk about this. So you have looked into this story. For people wondering, what happened exactly from your perspective?
I just believe that there was an individual that kind of got inside that school system and, was targeting these young individuals. And again, this happens. This is an epidemic that's happening all over the world.
So while we may be shocked, you're saying this is nothing new.
Oh, this is quite common. This is something that happens quite often. Again, I just had a situation with my kids. They're going to the school. I'm dropping them off. I deal with human trafficking. I'm letting them know about it each and every single day and tell me why they were able to walk out of the school grounds and go on to a store down the street. Now, when I came back to argue this, they're telling me they can't control anything outside of that fence. So in onset, they're saying.
She just said, I don't know how old her kids are, but she's just saying the kids can do what they please. So the kids are being influenced by these particular parties. Parties like in particular people to commit these acts. I don't even know if they're getting paid or if they're just doing it. But honestly, in some of these school systems, like the sex stuff is just running rampant anyway. I remember how it was in school, and it's probably 10 times worse now. Honestly, with all the stuff in society, social media, a lot of this stuff these kids are dealing with, they don't have. Probably some of them don't have the proper people to turn and talk to about certain situations.
And if they saw something happening right there on the other side of that fence, there's nothing they could do about it. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, how do we combat this, right? Because nobody's safe anymore. So I feel like just looking for the signs, you have to look at these individuals who are vulnerable, and these people like this are targeting these young individuals for profit.
Yeah, but what do you do if you have a wolf in sheep's clothing inside a school?
Well, you have to try to look at these people and try to determine, of course, background checks. You want to, you want to acknowledge.
And Matilda, in this case, it wouldn't come up because that's how she became a teacher. She has a clean background.
Crap.
People get into some crazy stuff once they start their career.
Slim, my man wanted to say some people get into some crazy cockeyed, crazy S word. But he ain't want to say it, man. He ain't want to be too comfortable.
And this can come in all aspects of the school. We have individuals, I know from a fact that we have individuals that go into school and they are actual students that are scouting other individuals to bring them into human trafficking. So this is something that's probably been ongoing. She's probably had a long history of trauma inside of her home, brought that inside of the school. It's money making all day, every day. And she probably figured, okay, here's a big platform where I can utilize my profession to gain access to these children and put them out there for human trafficking.
For parents who may be watching this, what would be your best advice to them to make sure their son or their daughter they're okay.
I always tell everybody, look for the signs. If your child becomes withdrawn, if you start to see excessive drug use, they're acting out, they're being rebellious, they're no longer.
Notice how she said excessive drug use, excessive drug use. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe she's thinking like smoking too much weed or something. I don't know. That's probably about the only quote unquote harmless drug you want to be dealing with. Like, I'm just curious to know what she's talking about. Like excessive drug use. That's kind of head scratcher to me.
One, excessive absences or tardiness, start skipping school. You want to look into these individuals and find out what is happening inside of that school. Your child is just not transforming into another individual for no reason at all. There's something going on.
And of course, I think also for parents out there, you can't be in denial. If you see it, you have to realize it's a possibility.
It's everywhere. I mean, we now have it in the rich neighborhoods. We have it comes from the poor neighborhood. It's all over. It's in the schools. It's in the churches. And if you see something and you know something's going on, don't act like you're not seeing it. You're hurting this baby, and this baby is being out there, or these children. Let me say it this way. Just these children are out there, and they're being used and sold to individuals over and over and over again. So look at the setting that you're setting them up for, a lifelong full of just trauma and probably criminal activities.
In many instances, this is not about money at all. It's about someone who may have groomed this person and said, I love you, and if you love me, you'll do this for me.
All the time. Those are called our Romeo pimps, right? Mm-hmm. It could be male or female. They can be for any gender. And they come in and they'll tell you the things that you want to hear. They want to tell you, they want to fill that void. They look for the vulnerable. They look for the weak. They look for those that have unstable housing, that come from the foster care system, who have issues with their bodies, and they want to make them feel like they're so wanted, and they'll start to groom them and condition.
Just like she said, I mean, it's critical that the parents or guardians or whoever watch over the children, because it's critical. Because these people are out here filling voids, like they might be missing something, some self-esteem issues, drugs, whatever the case may be. Like, that's why parents, guardians, whoever have to be stewards in their home. They have to watch over what their kids are doing constantly.
Their minds to tell them that you're doing all this for the sake of love.
All right, Matilda Saragosa, thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored. For those parents who may need help and they would like to find you, where can they find you?
Okay, I'm going to say this again. You can find us at 1302 Preston. It's called the We've Been There, Done That program. My mentor, Kathy Griffin, she is hands-on, and she is the person you want to meet.
She's quite a character. We love Kathy here. Thank you.
At 46, perimenopause.
Well, like the lady was saying, like, it's just some unfortunate stuff. Like, hopefully they can get that figured out and get these people out of the schools, because these kids don't deserve that. They deserve real role models, somebody that's going to teach and guide them and lead them on a righteous path. And hopefully they get this whole thing sorted out. But, unfortunately, these things happen. They just have to be weeded out, and especially in certain communities. So, the adults out there have to do their due diligence to make sure they're doing the proper things to be proper stewards over the kids. But that's my 1-2. And excuse this lady's situation right here.